All right, so we're diving deep into mindfulness today. Specifically, how to make it a regular thing, even if you're like totally new to it.
Perfect.
And we've got the best guide for this, Jon Kabat-Zinn. We'll be checking out one of his lectures from Dartmouth and his book, Wherever You Go, There You Are.
Both excellent sources.
Right.
Yeah.
So are you ready to get mindful with us?
Absolutely. I'm always excited to explore Kabat-Zinn's work. You know, what I find so fascinating is how he takes this ancient practice and makes it so relevant for us today. You know, like he cuts through all the mystical stuff and gives you practical tools.
Yeah, like in his book, he defines mindfulness as the awareness that arises from paying attention on purpose in the present moment and non-judgmentally.
Right.
It's so straightforward, but it's powerful too.
It is, and he really believes anyone can do it. I mean, we already practice mindfulness without realizing it. Think about it, you know where your hands are without looking, right? Yeah. That's called proprioception, or knowing when you're hungry or tired. That's interoception. Both are forms of mindfulness we use every single day.
Oh, okay. So it's not about like emptying your mind or sitting for hours trying not to think.
Nope, it's about bringing that same awareness to other experiences. Like Kabat-Zinn even talks about mindfully cleaning his stove while listening to music.
Cleaning the stove. Now that's a mindfulness practice I can actually get behind.
Right.
But he does talk about more traditional techniques too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He describes things like the body scan meditation, where you focus on the sensations in your body, you know, just kind of feeling each part.
Yeah.
And then there's walking meditation, where you pay attention to every step. You turn each step into a moment of presence.
So it's kind of like you take something you do automatically and just infuse it with like awareness.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I can already see how that could be helpful for like managing stress.
Oh, absolutely. That's one of the biggest benefits Kabat-Zinn emphasizes. You see, he explains that mindfulness doesn't, make stress disappear.
Right.
But it changes how we relate to it. It's like we create a space between us and the stress so we're not so overwhelmed by it,
And there's actually science backing this up. Yeah. He talks about research showing that people who practice mindfulness actually have longer telomeres.
Yeah.
And those are the protective caps on our chromosomes that are linked to, living longer.
Exactly. So what this means is that mindfulness could actually help you live a longer, healthier life. It's not just about feeling good in the moment. It's about tangible, long-term benefits.
Yeah, that's incredible. Makes you want to start meditating right now, doesn't it?
Right.
But I know Kabat-Zinn is also he's pretty honest about the challenges, right?
He is. He talks about common obstacles that people run into, things like being too self-critical and wanting results immediately. He even shares a story about a time he almost lost his temper with his daughter.
Well, I definitely want to hear about that. I mean, it's reassuring to know that even someone like him struggles sometimes.
Yeah. Well, in the story, he was feeling, stressed and rushed, and he snapped at his daughter. But later, he realized his reaction was more about, his own impatience than anything she had done.
That's so relatable, though.
Yeah.
It shows how mindfulness isn't about being perfect.
Right.
It's about becoming aware of those knee-jerk reactions and choosing a different way to respond.
Exactly. And that awareness is something we can cultivate through practice.
So it's like building a muscle. The more we practice mindfulness, the better we get at recognizing those patterns and making conscious choices instead.
Precisely. And that's what we'll explore further as we go deeper into Kabat-Zinn's insights. This leads to a really fascinating point that Kabat-Zinn makes about finding your purpose. Your capital J job, he calls it.
Okay, that sounds that sounds pretty deep. Is he suggesting that mindfulness can help us figure out our life's mission?
Well, in a way, yes. He talks about how mindfulness can help us connect with our deepest values and aspirations.
Yeah.
He actually even tells this story about Buckminster Fuller.
Yep.
The architect and visionary who actually contemplated suicide.
Wow.
At a low point in his life.
Okay, that's intense.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, instead of ending his life, Fuller made this decision that he would live as if he'd already died and dedicate himself to making a positive impact on the world.
No.
So he essentially found his capital J job.
That's amazing.
It is.
He turned a moment of crisis into a total turning point.
Right.
But how does that connect to mindfulness?
Well, Kabat-Zinn's suggesting that by by being more mindful, we actually become more aware of our inner compass, you know?
Yeah.
We start to see more clearly what really matters to us, what gives our lives meaning.
It's like mindfulness clears away all the noise and distractions, so we can finally hear our own inner voice.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
It does.
Now, I know Kabat-Zinn also talks about the importance of voluntary simplicity.
Yes.
In our modern world.
He does.
What's that all about?
Well, you know, he recognizes that we're constantly bombarded with information and demands and just so many choices, you know?
Right.
And it can be really overwhelming and make it hard to just connect with ourselves.
Yeah.
He suggests that by simplifying our lives, we can create space for stillness and reflection and connection.
So it's not about living like a minimalist or anything.
No, not necessarily. It's just about being more intentional with our time and energy.
Right. Okay.
It could be as simple as choosing to walk instead of drive, you know, or taking a few minutes each day to just sit in silence, or even consciously disconnecting from technology for a while.
Yeah, those are all things that I think we could all benefit from.
Absolutely.
Now, another concept that Kabat-Zinn talks a lot about is non-judging.
Yes.
What exactly does he mean by that?
It's not about suppressing our judgments or pretending we don't have them.
Right.
It's about developing an awareness of those judgments without getting caught up in them.
So it's more about noticing them and letting them kind of pass by.
Exactly.
Without attaching to them.
Exactly.
Okay, that's an interesting concept.
It is, you know, our minds are constantly evaluating and judging, but mindfulness can actually help us observe those judgments without taking them as absolute truth.
Right.
And that can be incredibly freeing.
Yeah, it can.
Yeah.
Now, we were talking earlier about Kabat-Zinn's story about getting angry with his daughter. What can we learn from that about handling difficult emotions?
Well, it shows us that, you know, mindfulness isn't about being perfect.
Right.
It's about recognizing that we all have these emotional reactions and learning to respond to them skillfully, even when they're challenging, you know?
Yeah.
He emphasizes that we don't have to be controlled by our emotions.
Right.
Mindfulness gives us the tools to pause, observe them, and then choose how we want to respond.
In that story, he realized that his anger was stemming from his own impatience.
Right.
Yeah, and this awareness allowed him to de-escalate the situation and respond with more compassion.
Yes.
So it's about taking that mindful pause, recognizing where the emotion is coming from, and then choosing a response that aligns with our values.
Exactly. And that takes practice. It's about developing a mindful awareness of our emotional landscape and cultivating the ability to respond rather than just react.
Right, and that's so important, especially in our fast-paced, often stressful world.
It is.
Mindfulness gives us a way to step out of those automatic reactions and make more conscious choices.
Absolutely. Now, another interesting concept Kabat-Zinn brings up is eachness and suchness.
Eachness and suchness.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Have you not?
No.
Well, it's about appreciating the uniqueness and inherent beauty of each moment and each being.
Oh, right.
So it's about seeing the world with fresh eyes, almost as if for the first time.
Okay.
It's about cultivating a sense of wonder and appreciation for even the simple things in life.
So kind of like beginner's mind.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
It's also about recognizing the interconnectedness of all things.
Okay.
He uses this metaphor of Indra's net, where each jewel in the net reflects all the other jewels. This highlights the idea that we're all connected, and our actions have these ripple effects throughout the web of life.
That's a beautiful metaphor.
It is.
It reminds us that we're all part of something much bigger than ourselves.
Exactly.
Now, before we wrap up this section, I want to touch on the importance of formal meditation practice. Kabat-Zinn seems to believe that it's a crucial part of developing mindfulness.
He does. He sees formal meditation as a foundation for mindfulness.
Okay.
It's like building a muscle.
Right.
The more we practice, the stronger our capacity for mindfulness becomes.
And he doesn't really sugarcoat it either.
No.
He acknowledges that that establishing a regular meditation routine takes like discipline and commitment.
It does.
But he also emphasizes that the rewards are really worth the effort.
They are.
He describes formal meditation as a radical act of kindness toward ourselves.
Yes.
A time to unplug, to disconnect from the external world, and simply be present with ourselves.
Exactly.
He also provides like practical advice on how to get started. Right?
He does.
Like, what are some of those tips?
Well, he suggests finding a comfortable posture.
Okay.
Working with distractions and just cultivating a gentle attitude towards ourselves.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, he also mentions the importance of finding a teacher or a community to support your practice.
So like having a mindfulness support system.
Exactly.
Now, before we move on to the final part of our deep dive, what from this section resonated most with you, like personally?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I'm particularly drawn to Kabat-Zinn's invitation to explore our capital J job,
right?
Our purpose in life.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that mindfulness isn't just about personal well-being, but also about, contributing to the world in a meaningful way.
It is.
Yeah, and I also really appreciate his emphasis on voluntary simplicity.
Yeah.
In a world that's constantly pushing us to do more and be more.
Right.
It's kind of a radical act to choose to slow down and simplify.
It's a reminder that like true abundance often comes from letting go, from appreciating what we already have, and from being present with the simple joys of life.
Absolutely. And this simplicity doesn't have to be extreme. Yeah. It's about making small intentional choices. That create more space for peace and connection and meaning.
Yeah.
And that's where the concept of non-judging comes in, right?
Yeah.
By cultivating awareness of our judgments without getting caught up in them.
Right.
We create more space for acceptance and compassion and freedom.
Even though it can be challenging.
It can.
Especially when we're dealing with like difficult emotions like anger. Kabat-Zinn's honesty about his own struggles, it reminds us that mindfulness is a practice.
Yeah.
It's not a destination.
It's a process.
It's about showing up for our lives, imperfections and all, and navigating them with more awareness and skill.
Right.
And I love how he emphasizes that that it's not about being perfect, but about being present and aware and kind to ourselves, even when we mess up.
Right, and that brings us back to the importance of formal meditation practice. It's a time dedicated to cultivating mindful awareness, training our minds to be more present and focused and compassionate.
It's a gift we give ourselves,
It is.
A time to reconnect with our inner selves and nurture our well-being.
It is, and as we develop our mindfulness muscle through formal practice, we become more capable of bringing that awareness into all aspects of our lives.
Yeah.
Our relationships, our work, our interactions with the world.
It's about integrating mindfulness into like the fabric of our lives.
Yes.
Making it less of a technique and more of like a way of being.
Beautifully put. As we continue to explore Kabat-Zinn's insights in the final part of our deep dive, we'll delve even deeper into the practical applications of mindfulness and the transformative potential that it holds for each of us. All right, so we've talked about what mindfulness is, why it matters, and how it works.
Right.
But let's make it even more practical.
Yeah.
Kabat-Zinn, he offers some great advice on how to actually bring mindfulness into your everyday life beyond just formal meditation.
Yeah, because I'm still kind of stuck on that mindful stove cleaning thing. Like, are there other everyday examples like that?
Oh, absolutely. Well, he talks about walking meditation, and I don't mean the formal kind of, but just walking with awareness, paying attention to the sensations of your feet hitting the ground, the movement of your legs, even the feeling of the wind on your skin.
So it's like you're turning those like autopilot moments
Exactly.
into opportunities for presence.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, how often do you like rush up the stairs thinking about a million other things?
Oh, all the time.
Right. But try slowing down,
Yeah.
feeling each step, noticing your breath.
Okay.
It's a simple shift, but it can really make a big difference.
I love that. Yeah, like finding those little pockets of time throughout the day
Yeah.
to just bring in more awareness.
Exactly. And where Kabat-Zinn says we get a lot of practice?
Great.
Parenting.
Okay.
He actually calls it a live-in Zen master experience.
Okay, I'm definitely intrigued. Tell me more.
Well, he says children,
Yeah.
with all their energy and ever-changing emotion, they're constantly giving us these chances to practice
Okay.
patience, presence, compassion.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
Those moments when you feel your buttons being pushed.
Yeah.
He says see them as invitations
Okay.
to be more mindful.
So instead of just like reacting,
Exactly.
I can like pause and observe my own emotions.
Yeah,
And then choose how I want to respond.
exactly.
Okay, that's a game changer.
It is. It really is. And Kabat-Zinn emphasizes the importance of truly being present with your children.
Okay.
Like really listening to them.
Right.
Seeing the world through their eyes.
So it's about letting go of my own agenda
Yeah.
and just being with those little Zen masters.
Exactly.
But he knows parenting is hard. Right.
He does.
They're not going to be perfect all the time.
Oh, absolutely not. He's very honest about his own struggles,
Mm-hmm.
He talks about how, meditation helped him be more patient with his kids. But there were definitely still times when he fell short. Yeah.
He says mindfulness isn't about being a perfect parent.
Right.
It's about being aware of our imperfections,
Okay.
learning from our mistakes,
Mhm.
and always trying to be more present and loving.
Okay. That takes a lot of pressure off.
Right.
Yeah. We're all just doing our best.
Yeah.
But mindfulness gives us like a framework,
It does.
for approaching parenting with more intention
Right.
and compassion.
Absolutely. And it's not just about parenting.
Okay.
This can help with all relationships,
Oh.
being more present. It
Oh.
allows us to listen more deeply, to communicate more effectively,
Right.
and just build stronger connections.
So for someone who's like ready to start building a mindfulness practice, what does Kabat-Zinn actually suggest? Like, where do they begin?
He always says start small.
Okay.
Even just a few minutes each day.
Okay.
Find a quiet place where you can sit comfortably
Right.
and focus on your breath.
Okay. As you get more comfortable, you can gradually, increase the length of your sessions.
Okay, what about those different types of meditation he talked about?
Yeah, you should experiment.
Uh-huh.
There's body scan meditation, walking meditation, loving kindness meditation. It's about finding what works for you,
Right.
and making it a regular part of your life. He
Yeah.
also talks about, finding a teacher
Okay.
or joining a mindfulness group.
Yeah.
Why is that important?
Yeah. Why?
Well, it can be incredibly helpful, especially when you're first starting out.
Right.
A teacher can answer questions, provide guidance, and keep you motivated,
Right.
and connecting with other people who are
Yeah.
practicing mindfulness creates this sense of community and shared purpose.
Like having a mindfulness support system. Yeah.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the wisdom of Jon Kabat-Zinn, what's the one key takeaway that you hope listeners walk away with?
Mindfulness is a journey.
Yeah.
It's a journey of self-discovery and transformation.
Okay.
It's about being present in this moment,
Yeah.
learning to approach your experiences with kindness and curiosity,
Right.
and finding your own unique path to a more meaningful life.
That's beautifully said, and it's not about being perfect. Yeah, right. It's about showing up for your life, with all its messy imperfections,
Yeah.
with greater awareness, compassion, and wisdom.
It's a journey, and there will be ups and downs,
Right.
but by returning to the present moment, breath by breath, step by step,
Yeah.
you can create a life with more peace, purpose, and joy.
That's a great way to end this exploration. So for everyone listening, take what you've learned today and begin exploring mindfulness for yourselves.
Yes,
Even small steps, they make a difference.
they do.
And remember, wherever you go, there you are.
And in that present moment, there's so much potential for growth, connection, and peace.